Welcome to 100 Yards Football. It's my college football game preview. Today I'm going to highlight the oldest rivalry in the South, the Auburn Tigers taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. If you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm Vincent Turner, Mr. Football, and I want to say special thanks to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers, for making it happen this morning. The Auburn Tigers are coming to Athens on Saturday. And let me start with the Auburn Tigers first. Last week, Robbie Ashford, their quarterback, threw for 337 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 3 turnovers in that football game. You cannot win in the SEC. Tank Beasley, their star running back, only had 45 yards rushing, I believe. When you got a player like that and a running back like that, that gentleman's got to be the focus of the game right there. And most of all, I really think Auburn has a real good football team. I like their coach, Brian Harsin. The guy won at Boise State at a high level. And I think maybe when he first got the job at Auburn, one of his former players, who's right now running back with the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Avery Williams, spoke very highly of Brian Harsin. But we know what the expectations are when you take a job at Auburn. You got that big red elephant down the road in Tuscaloosa, who's right now is rolling under Nick Saban. And you playing in the toughest conference in America. The Auburn faithful are not going to be very patient. I'm really pulling for Brian Harsin because I think he's got some real good football players, and I think he's got a good football team. When you take a job such as Auburn back in the day when I was coming up through college in the 70s, 80s, usually had like 4 or 5 years to turn the table. Now that's not happening realistically in college football. You only got 2 years, maybe 3 at the max, because especially you're getting paid now at that profession. As I said last week, Auburn blew a 17-9 lead, should have won that football game. The C for Brian Harsin, as I always say, is fire. Ohio players, your seat is on fire. And there's rumors coming out of Auburn, Alabama, that at the end of the year, he's going to be relieved of his duties. And he's got some real good football players who I think are going to be NFL standouts in his 2 rush ends, Derek Hall and Troy Wooten. They play very hard on our defensive side of the ball for Auburn. But Pat Sullivan is not coming through the doors. Terry Beasley is not coming through the doors. Joe Cribb is not coming through the doors. William Andrews is not coming through the doors. And Bo Jackson is not coming through the doors. A big football game. Auburn going down the plains. I just hope Brian Harsin keeps it competitive. Now, the Georgia Bulldogs came out of the gates real fast. No question about it. After 3 weeks, I said, maybe y'all the best football team in the country, and y'all deservedly the number 1 ranking. Then I heard some guys on this network called the SEC said that Georgia got a chance to be in the greatest college football team ever in the history of college football. I said, woo, hold up now. You talking about all them great USC teams and Oklahomas, Billy Sims, Thomas Lott, Bradford, SC, Bam, Sam Bam, Cunningham, Lynn Swan, Anthony Davis, Ronnie Lott. Yeah, this guy on the SEC network was putting Georgia in that type of realm. But however, the Bulldogs took 2 steps back. And against Missouri last week, they got exposed. Stetson Bennett played a real well football game. I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in college football. 312 yards, very experienced guy. So I don't worry about Georgia there. But to me, Kenny McIntosh had 10 rushes for 65 yards. And Kendon Milton had 8 rushes for 61 yards. For Georgia to be the football team they need to be, they got to be able to run the ball. The days of Garrison Hurst, Rodney Hampton, Lars Tate, and of course Herschel Walker, Robert Evans. But what I saw last week in the Missouri game, Missouri came with an excellent game plan. We're going to stack the box and make us beat us on the outside. And we're going to try to take Brock Bowers away along with Donnell Washington. But we know Land McCoughlin, Don Blaylock, Dylan Bell, Karis Jackson can't beat us over the top. And that's what Missouri did. That's why they kind of exposed Georgia. Now, Georgia supposed to be getting back A. Mitchell this week. A guy that can beat people man to man. Go back and look at the national championship game. A. Mitchell beating people over the top in that game. But Georgia got exposed. And then I heard somebody yesterday. That's what I don't understand. On Georgia's first 11 plays, they had 49 yards. But I guess you got to find somebody to blame. I heard somebody, you know what I'm talking about, blaming the Georgia's offensive line. Saying, hey, they didn't get our blocks man to man. Well, what I saw receivers that couldn't beat press coverage. And Missouri stacking 7 to 8 in the box and punching you in the mouth. And I was saying, hold up now. You kind of throwing Georgia offensive line under the bus here. But Georgia got exposed. Because this is what teams are going to do moving forward. And this is going to really tell whether Georgia is going to be a national championship team and keep up with the Alabamas, the USCs of the world. Is that when teams come stack the box and they're going to take away your running game, can your receivers beat our DBs man to man? Can Brock Bowers take on our best safety in DB? Missouri just had a simple game plan. Now we're going to see what Georgia's going to do. And I'm thinking Georgia's going to bounce back and they're going to make a statement against Auburn. Auburn, right now, a team that's really fighting for their head coach, a head coach that's not going to probably be there at the end of the year. So Georgia is probably not going to be really nice on Saturday. And then another thing, Georgia's got to keep up with California. Yeah, Lincoln Riley doing his thing out there on the West Coast. Utah with Cal Whittingham's doing his thing. Even Washington is kind of in the mix. They got beat, I believe, last week by UCLA, but that's all right. Then you got Tennessee lurking with a big game against LSU. And then, of course, Alabama. Very impressive win over Arkansas last week. Georgia's got a lot to prove, and I think Georgia's going to play a really good football game. So I'm looking at Georgia, 42, Auburn, 21. It's not even going to be close. Georgia's going to come out like a machine. And now I'm looking at whether Tom Monken can make adjustments. But go Dogs. One more time, Georgia 42, Auburn 21. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I surely appreciate it here. 100 Yards Football. Special thanks to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. God bless.